Have you ever wondered? If your Shih Tzu could grade you, what score would you get? I'm not talking about feeding on time or keeping up with grooming. I'm talking about something deeper, something you only begin to notice after living with a Shih Tzu long enough. There are rare, subtle behaviors that only appear when your dog truly sees you as the safe center of its world. I've raised and observed this breed for many years, and I can say something that might surprise some people. Shih Tzus do not give their full trust to everyone. They can be friendly, they can wag their tails, they can be well behaved, but attachment at the level of survival instinct is something entirely different. For example, when your Shih Tzu is fast asleep and you walk into the room, it doesn't jump up in alarm. It barely opens its eyes, looks at you for a second, and relaxes again. That isn't indifference. That means its nervous system has already registered that your presence is not a threat. And for a species wired to stay alert, that level of trust is enormous. There are Shih Tzus who, when you're feeling low, don't bark or try to entertain you. They simply come closer and lean lightly against your leg. Not clingy, not demanding, just quietly adjusting their breathing to yours. If you've ever experienced that moment, you know how powerful it feels. That isn't coincidence. That's emotional sensitivity at a level this breed carries with surprising depth. I've also noticed something very clear. A Shih Tzu may happily play with many people, but when something startles them, the first pair of eyes they search for is yours. Not because you're the strongest, not because you're the strictest, but because you are their point of reference for safety. Some Shih Tzus don't need to lie right next to you all the time, but they will always choose a position where they can see you. A corner of the sofa, under the table, near the doorway. That isn't dependency. That's regulated connection. They keep you in sight as a way to steady their nervous system. And when you leave, if they remain calm instead of panicking, that's a sign of a very healthy attachment. Another behavior I deeply value is when a Shih Tzu brings something that smells like you and lies beside it. No chewing, no destruction, just resting their nose on it and breathing evenly. That's how they use your scent to regulate emotion. Not every dog does this. Only those who see you as home in a biological sense. And then there's the gaze. Sometimes a Shih Tzu looks at you for no reason at all. Not for food, not for a walk, just looking. Slow blinks, soft facial muscles. If you've ever returned that gaze calmly instead of overstimulating the moment, you've unintentionally created a surge of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, without any formal training at all. Think about your own Shih Tzu. When you call its name, does it respond with genuine enthusiasm or just habit? When you're stressed, does it come closer or pull away? When there's a strange noise, does it look to you for guidance or handle it independently? Those answers say far more than any checklist about whether you're a great owner. Living with Shih Tzus has taught me this. Greatness in this relationship doesn't come from advanced training techniques. It comes from hundreds of small interactions where your dog learns that around you, it doesn't need to stay on guard. If you've listened this far and recognized a few of these behaviors in your own Shih Tzu, leave a comment about a moment that surprised you with its sensitivity. I want to read that story. And other owners need to hear it too. And if you want to keep going deeper into how Shih Tzus think, feel, and bond at a biological level, subscribe to the channel. Not to boost numbers, but so you don't miss the tiny signals this breed sends every single day. Signals only truly observant owners ever notice. There's one more thing many Shih Tzu owners truly want to know, but few people explain clearly. How do you know you are really their person? Not just the one who fills the food bowl. You'll see it in very ordinary moments. When you slightly lower your voice, just a little deeper, and your Shih Tzu immediately pays attention. Not because of the words, because of the tone. This breed reads vocal rhythm faster than most people realize. If your dog reacts before you even finish your sentence, it means its brain has prioritized your signal over the rest of the environment. Another sign experienced owners recognize. When you sit down, your Shih Tzu doesn't rush or push in right away. It pauses, observes for a second, then chooses how to approach. A confident Shih Tzu doesn't need to compete for space. It understands its place in the relationship. And when a small dog knows its place without having to prove it, it's because you've created clarity over time. There are moments when you're working, not even looking at your dog, yet you sense it nearby. No noise, no demand for attention, just resting there. That isn't indifference. That's trust that you're not disappearing. For a Shih Tzu, the ability to stay still without fearing disconnection is a sign of mature attachment. People often ask me, how to strengthen the bond? The answer isn't playing more. It's reacting less when it's unnecessary. When your Shih Tzu startles at a noise and you remain calm instead of overcomforting, you're giving it a model for emotional regulation. Over time, it learns to look to you before reacting to the world. And when that begins to happen, you've become its reference nervous system. There's another truth Shih Tzu owners should hear. Not every dog shows affection the same way. Some tilt their head every time you speak. Some place a paw gently on your foot. Some simply sigh when you stop petting them. Don't compare. Observe your dog's unique attachment style. When you accept the way it loves instead of expecting it to love the way you imagine, the relationship deepens. If you recognize yourself in these examples, if you've noticed some of these signs in your own Shih Tzu, don't keep it to yourself. Share in the comments one behavior that made you realize your dog truly trusts you. The more specific, the better. Real stories from owners help the community understand this breed more accurately. And if you want to continue exploring the deeper layers of how Shih Tzus think, feel, and bond, subscribe to the channel. Here, we don't just talk about raising dogs. We talk about building a steady relationship where both you and your dog can truly relax. Because in the end, the goal isn't to have a well-behaved dog. It's to have a Shih Tzu that looks at you with peaceful eyes. And you know you've done it right. Before we close this video, I want you to keep one single thing in mind. Not as a badge of being a great owner, but as a very honest measure. If your Shih Tzu can completely relax when it's around you, then you've done enough. Not enough because you did a lot. Enough because you moved in the right rhythm. So many owners are trying to become better every day. Better at training, better at nutrition, better at care. But with the Shih Tzu, greatness isn't found in big upgrades. It's found in the steady repetition of very small things. A voice that doesn't change unpredictably. A touch that doesn't make their body flinch. A calm response when they make a mistake. Those things don't look impressive in the moment, but they build the foundation a dog can rely on for life. You don't have to guess whether you're truly their person. The answer is always written in your dog's body. Does it sleep deeply? Does it dare to turn its back to you while lying down? Can it move away from you for a while without panic? Does it return without hesitation? Those behaviors cannot be faked. They are biological reflexes of a nervous system that feels safe. I want you to believe this. Shih Tzus don't keep scorecards. They don't calculate how long you played today or whether you forgot to pet them yesterday. They respond to the overall state you create. If that state is stable enough, predictable enough, gentle enough, your dog will slowly begin to relax. And when a small dog like a Shih Tzu chooses to relax, that is the greatest gift it can give. Maybe you've been impatient before. Maybe you misunderstood its signals. Maybe you pushed interaction when it wanted space. That doesn't make you a bad owner. What makes you different is that you're listening. You're learning. You're observing instead of reacting on habit. And that shift in perspective alone is enough to move the relationship forward. A truly happy Shih Tzu doesn't need to perform. It doesn't need to entertain you. It doesn't need to cling constantly. It just needs to know that its world has a steady anchor. If you are that anchor, you don't have to prove anything else. When you come home and see your dog somewhere within sight, breathing evenly, eyes soft, not tense, not scanning the room, understand that this is the clearest answer you'll ever get. No words, no techniques, just peace. And peace doesn't appear randomly. It's the result of hundreds of days where you chose to slow down a little, soften a little, and stay consistent a little longer. If you've watched this far, it means you care enough to question yourself. And with a sensitive breed like the Shih Tzu, an owner who reflects is already at a strong advantage. You don't need perfection. You need to keep observing, keep adjusting, and keep building that stability day by day. Take this slower pace back to your Shih Tzu. Don't try to test whether it loves you. Just observe whether it can relax around you. If the answer is yes, you're on the right path. And if these reflections help you understand your relationship with your Shih Tzu more deeply, continue following the channel. Not for numbers, but because every video here is about one thing: helping you raise your dog not just by habit, but with understanding and trust. In the end, remember this: a Shih Tzu's love isn't loud, but it is clear. You just have to look closely enough to see it.